Welcome to this week's Movie Math, where Interstellar became the first Christopher Nolan movie not to open at #1 since Insomnia way back in 2002. That's a decade-long streak of #1s over, largely because Nolan has too much artistic integrity to release a film in 3D. Not only would Interstellar have looked amazing in 3D, but it probably would have been able to top Disney's Big Hero 6 as well, which played almost exclusively in 3D. Nolan's allegiance to film didn't help him either, as opening Interstellar 2 days early only in theaters that could show it via film projection added a mere 2.2 million, still not enough to top Big Hero 6 even if it did count in the weekend gross. The 2-hour-plus running time, not including previews and ads, also didn't help, as each screen couldn't play as many showings as Big Hero 6. And here's a fact that will blow your mind. Apparently Big Hero 6 and Interstellar had the same budget. How do you think $165 million was better spent? But Disney can wipe that smile off its face as well, with Big Hero 6 opening a good $10 million below last year's Frozen and the Lego Movie. Yes, both movies underperformed and actually might have cannibalized each other, a sign of dark times to come for the movie business as the release schedule gets more crowded and the demographic breakdown for each genre becomes less clear-cut. How do you counter-program when everyone wants to see everything? But at least Disney could claim victory over the weekend, an important headline not just for Big Hero 6, but Disney animation overall. While it couldn't match Frozen's debut, this was an improvement over Tangled and Wreck-It Ralph, indicating that love for Frozen has translated to brand loyalty for Disney animation. Disney would love to see its original animation department recapture the kind of brand loyalty they've recently had to purchase with Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. Speaking of Marvel, it's doubtful the House of Ideas will claim to have aided the Mouse House here, as not only does Big Hero 6 the movie differ considerably from Big Hero 6 the comic, but Marvel did almost nothing to support the film. Considering its #1 debut, that was maybe a mistake. While Big Hero 6 defeating Interstellar might seem like a shocker, there's actually a pretty strong precedent here. If Interstellar does indeed top 50 million for the weekend, how is that even a question? This will be the 4th time that the box office has had 2 movies debut with 50 million apiece. And all 3 previous times it was also live action versus animation, and animation always won. Brad Pitt, Ridley Scott, Angelina Jolie, all pixelated. By the way, while all those live-action movies still fared pretty darn well at the box office, Warner Brothers and Paramount wouldn't be happy with any of their numbers, as Inception pulled in double. In fact, Interstellar just might turn out to be fool's gold for Warner Brothers. Remember how badly the studio wanted to stay in the Christopher Nolan business? Let me refresh your memory. In order to keep Nolan in-house, Warner Brothers traded the following to Paramount for a stake in the film. They gave back the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise, as well as for a South Park sequel. They also agreed to let Paramount in on an upcoming A-list movie at Warner Brothers. And to get the blessing of production company Legendary Pictures, which is still squarely in the Nolan business, Warner Brothers allowed them to walk away from producing and financing any future DC movies, starting with Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Man, hindsight is 20/20, huh? Oh yes, one has to also wonder if Nolan is still worth his $20 million up front, 20% of the gross deal, considering he didn't deliver a #1 debut. Interstellar got a B+ from CinemaScore, which indicates a decreased overall gross, and just a 74% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, his lowest yet for a film he directed. Now, of course, Nolan will surely work again, but with the same level of creative freedom or budget? Unlikely. Something to remember when you wonder why these box office numbers are so important. The only thing that can possibly save Nolan now is for Interstellar to land multiple nominations during award season in the top creative categories, although that Rotten Tomatoes score makes that seem unlikely as well. Nolan also would have been smart to square away his next picture before Interstellar opened, giving him a guaranteed second chance to prove himself. But that's right, he doesn't like to play the game. Why am I being so hard on Christopher Nolan? I even liked Interstellar. The thing is, it's tough to watch someone fail when they didn't have to. As for the rest of the box office, it was a wasteland, with no other picture able to pull in over 6 million total for the weekend. Nightcrawler was hit particularly hard in just its second weekend, falling almost 50%, as Ben Affleck, Bill Murray, and a Ouija board all proved to have more staying power than Jake Gyllenhaal. If anybody ever needed a comic book movie, it's Gyllenhaal, but who will give him one with these kinds of numbers? With the wind knocked out of the competition, Birdman got even closer to breaking into the top 10. And another strong awards contender, The Theory of Everything, debuted in just 5 theaters and managed a nice per-theater average. Not as splashy as the Grand Budapest Hotel, Birdman, or even Boyhood, but on par with last year's 12 Years a Slave and Her. And things turned out pretty good for those films, awards-wise. As for this coming weekend, Jim Carrey is hoping for his biggest debut since Bruce Almighty, while Beyond the Lights looks to play to a much smaller crowd. And in the specialty market, Foxcatcher will finally open to the public, as will Jon Stewart's directorial debut, Rosewater, and Tommy Lee Jones's The Homesman. And that's the weekend box office. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll go beyond the trailer for these other top movies.